Hello, Guilty Feminist listeners. A very exciting, short, but important Guilty Feminist broadcast this morning, because tomorrow is the Gorton and Denton by-election. If you're not from the UK, this is incredibly important because it's widely being seen as a two-horse race between Reform, our far-right party, and the Greens, our real left-wing hope in this country. And the Greens are gaining so much popularity. Delightfully this morning, I am joined by the by-election candidate, Hannah Spencer, otherwise known on Instagram and so forth as Hannah the Plumber. Please welcome to the Guilty Feminist, Hannah.
Thank you so much for having me and for the movement that you have helped to build that has led to this moment where life looks like it's finally about to get better for all of us.
It feels like such a moment of hope. It really, really does. And we've got Zach Polanski coming on the show very soon on the 5th of March at the Union Chapel. That show is it's nearly 1,000 seats and it's already sold out. There is an absolute movement behind the Greens, and I know the Guilty Feminists will be all rooting for you because you are a young working class woman in the North who is works as a tradesperson. You're a plumber, you're a trainee plasterer, and you also want to give to your community, and you are in politics for the right reason. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so thank you for the overview. I think you've ticked all the things I would have started with. Yeah, so plumber, I've actually finished my plastering course. So I finished that a couple of weeks ago in the midst of all this. And I'm really proud. On my sitting guilds, I managed to get a distinction, which I was absolutely chuffed with. And I wasn't political. Like I got involved in the Green Party about 3.5 years ago. I had a really quick intro. I started leafleting with my local party. We got someone elected, and then I stood and I got elected. And it's just been this like snowball of just this incredible change that we've managed to achieve. And this now is, it's hard to put into words like how important this moment is, not just for what I, as an MP, as a Green MP in the North, could do for everybody in this constituency, but beyond that, but also about flipping this idea that we are going to have a Reform government in 2029. Like, if we can do this, 100%. We can show that we have changed the course of politics. Everything the media is telling us, we actually are in control of. And I want to send a huge message to the elite and the establishment that we are coming. We're going to change things. We're going to rip that power away from them, and we're going to get it back into our hands, the hands of working people, working class communities who keep this country moving.
Absolutely. And Matt Goodwin, who is your the person that you're up against, really, the Reform candidate, just in case any of our listeners have not heard of him, he is I think he's far right even for Reform, to be honest. He has said that young women need to be given a biological reality check, i.e. you should have babies as soon as possible because your eggs are drying up, essentially. He's talked about the feminization of higher education, which with Jordan Peterson, which is a real Jordan Peterson thing. It's like too many women in higher education, and women don't want to marry people with less education than them. So this is what's causing us to have dropping birth rates. So we need to put more men in uni and fewer women. I mean, you can't believe it. And then he's also said that women without children, like me, should pay more tax as a punishment because we're not pumping out babies Gilead style. And I also saw, and I don't know the details of this, so I'm going to say allegedly, but there was sexual harassment accusations. Well, the accusations aren't alleged. But that in itself, all of that together, terrifying, absolutely terrifying. I know our listeners will be shouting at the podcast at the moment going, oh my God, this is the alternative. And now we're seeing this polarization where on one side, we could be hundreds of votes apart between somebody who we just can't imagine a future if it's run by people like Matt Goodwin, and you who stand for working people can, you know, one thing that really struck me that you said is you get to go into people's houses as a plumber and as a plasterer now, and you see the poverty people are living in a way that many people in Westminster will never see, most people in Westminster will never see and have never seen. Could you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, and I suppose just to come back to your earlier comments that I, since the start, have condemned everything Matt Goodwin has said. He's such an extreme candidate. And I will say I am personally, as someone who used to vote Labour, really disappointed at the lack of challenge that they've given him. I've literally sat in hustings next to the Labour candidate who has been silent on all that, and it was me that was pressing Matt Goodwin to explain himself. And this is the difference of having feisty Green in the room, because we cannot rely on Labour to do that anymore. They should not be in this race. Like, they should step aside and let someone like me, who is going to challenge Matt Goodwin and the like, and hold them to account. But yeah, to come back, I think, to your main question about what we see in our lives, like I am like so many people in this constituency of Gorton Denton, in Greater Manchester, but across the country, who I see firsthand how much people are struggling. Like, I see people who can't get their kids' school uniforms, who, you know, the fridge is bare, like who I'm trying to arrange like the annual legal mandatory gas check, and I can't do it because the parents work all the hours under the sun. Like, they are juggling everything to try and get childcare, to try and get all these things just to keep like some sort of like non-chaotic life for their kids or their family. Like, the things that people juggle and struggle just to get by is unacceptable. Like, we are not a poor city here in Manchester. We are not a poor country. There is millions and billions coming into us as a city in property development, in, you know, people that are coming here that want to live here, and yet people living in the shadows of the skyscrapers that are going up like all the time are not able to make ends meet. And I'm someone that I firmly believe that if you work hard, you should have a nice life. And if you're not able to work for whatever reason, you should also have a nice life. Like, I don't think they're extreme things to want to work towards. And I don't see a reason why we can't have that, other than the politicians that we've had for decades that just aren't willing to fight for people. And I will always put people first who need that equality that maybe they're not born with. Yeah, and I think when it's that kind of politician like me against someone like Matt Goodwin, it's just astounding that we're even having that choice. But it just shows the hope of what is possible, that we do not have to have these millionaires and billionaires who are forcing people like Matt Goodwin on us, because up pops a plumber who's just like, just been able to challenge
what
it.
Life's like for people, for the majority. You know what life's like for the majority of people in Gorton and Denton. You will fight for those people. You are not in it for some kind of cozying up to people who can wheel and deal and give backhanders to your friends. All of the stuff that we've seen in politics in the last 20 years that's really disgusted us. And you are a fresh coat of paint, as it were. So I am going to say, what do you need in the next 24 hours from Guilty Feminist listeners? Because I know they'll already be on your side. But how can they help you?
So we need people being really honest. Like, everything we've done up to now has got us to the point where we can seriously snatch this away from Reform and Labour. But the difference will be made tomorrow on polling day, so Thursday, the 26th of February, from 6 a.m. till 10 o'clock at night. We need people out. And that looks like delivering leaflets. It looks like leading teams. It looks like knocking on people's doors of people who we've already had conversations with, who have told us, yep, I'm going to vote Green. And it's just simply a friendly, smiley conversation with people to remind them that today is polling day and they need to get out, because we know that Reform voters are actually more likely than any other group to go out and vote, which I didn't know. I didn't know that. That really surprised me. So we know that they're going to go out and vote, and our Green voters are less likely to. So what we need to do is go out and just gently remind people that it's polling day, and that their vote could make the difference, because we're expecting, you know, the research is showing it could be down to as many as 70 votes in this.
Wow.
So if you can get out and just have a couple of conversations with people, like, that will be huge. But we need people to come from wherever they are, to come to Gorton and Denton and help us finish this fight.
So if you live in Gorton and Denton, or you live near Gorton and Denton, you get out everyone on your WhatsApp groups. Get out everyone on your Facebook page, put it on Instagram, whatever, and say, hey, everyone, remember tomorrow. So the more you live, if the closer you live to Gorton and Denton, the more you can mobilize your network and say, we cannot have this man, Matt Goodwin, with saying all these poisonous things about women and saying all these poisonous things about immigrants, because the way he speaks isn't like, well, here are the problems and, you know, this is how we need to manage it. It is really disparaging and contemptuous of people, often who fled real horrors. It's nasty, and it feels, to me, it doesn't feel like it's about immigration. It feels like it's about race. And it's really deeply upsetting to hear him speak, for me, about women and about immigrants. So what I would like to suggest is, if you have any people in your WhatsApp group that live in Gorton and Denton or near who could come out and volunteer, or if you live near, or if you feel so strongly that this might be the boat that just turns, you know, as Hannah says, it's bigger than Gorton and Denton. It's about the country seeing, hold on, a turn is coming. And if that turn is coming, we should all get out and be part of that turn. There is hope. So if you can get to Manchester tomorrow, if you can have a Ferris Bueller's day off and take the day off work and get to Gorton and Denton, how do they get in touch with the Green Party there so that they can be usefully volunteering?
Yeah, so if you go, so my Instagram is Hannah the Plumber MCR, and there's a link in my bio there with our general Gorton and Denton website, and all the details are on there. There's a sign up sheet for tomorrow, and there's also our WhatsApp community that is definitely worth joining, because that's got announcements on how you can help. But if you also just search Green Party Action Days, it will come up with our Green Party website, because yeah, as you've said, anybody from Manchester or anybody further afield, like, we've had people coming from all over the country because they know how big this is and what we can set off here tomorrow. Even if you don't live anywhere near, if you can come and help, it will be your place next that gets the choice to have a Green MP. But we can only do that if we show tomorrow that we have absolutely fought back and we've won.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So if they go to the Green Party website, if they're not on Instagram, they can get Green Party website. There's action days and if they just, maybe it'll come up on the front page probably, or they'll search for Gorton and Denton. Worst case scenario, just what's your train station? Where would they need to go to get involved?
So there's a couple of train stations nearby. You can get to Bellevue, and we're on, our little HQ is on Mount Road. It's 173 Mount Road in Gorton. So you can come here, and there will be people here, and there will be loads and loads of things to do, and there will be training as well. And I say that as if it's a big, I know it's a huge thing to a lot of people. Like, it was big for me the first time I knocked on someone's door, but we'll give you all the support. You won't be on your own. There will be loads of people here, as there have been, who've never done anything like this before. Like, I was like that when I joined. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so out of my depth. But tomorrow is just knocking on the doors of people who will be quite happy to see us, for us to remind them that we're voting, that they're able to vote Green, especially because, you know, it's Ramadan tomorrow, people are fasting, people's kids, you know, will need picking up and dropping off from school. Like, people have busy lives, and it's really easy to just forget, even though there's been a lot of build-up. Like, it's just natural and normal for those of us with busy lives to forget that tomorrow is polling day. So people are really appreciative when we knock on and just remind them. And
I used to be a Jehovah's Witness, so I'm really experienced. So I was like, I'm not knocking on people's doors. Yeah. So I just was checking, like, can I come up? And I'm looking in my diary for windows where I could come up for a couple of hours and knock on people's doors. Yeah. Because I think if I possibly can, I'm going to, because I think I just want to be part of it as well. And I want to think we've, as a community of people who do not want to see reform in our country, I want to be part of it. I want to feel like we left it all on the table and we did everything we could. Yeah. And that change is possible. And, you know, even just how close this is shows it's possible. But my God, if we got it over the line, wouldn't that be an extraordinary celebration?
Yeah. And it's meant everything for... Sorry, I feel like I'm getting quite emotional now, because I just remember, like, all these conversations I've had with people over the last few weeks and in the run-up to this, like, people who their like existence is resting on this, and whether it's us like without kids or with kids or whoever, like the people that he's attacked, there's so many of us that our lives will get so much worse with someone like him sat on a bench in Parliament. And I know I want to be able to sort of look people in the eye and know that I did everything, and I don't want that feeling of waking up on Friday morning and knowing that we were so close but we didn't quite manage it. And it is just that thing of, if it's an hour, if it's half an hour, like our communities here are so precious. Like they make our lives wonderful, but they're really at risk. And I know last night I was at an iftar at a mosque with these women, and it was tiny. There wasn't very many of us, but it was just, I just had this minute with these women. Not all, not everyone spoke English, like not everybody, but we were just together. And I thought, I just had this sense where I was like, this is what I'm fighting for. Like, it's these people who are demonized and targeted and scapegoated just simply because they exist. And I thought, I want everybody to have a safe and peaceful life, and that is what's at stake here. Like, we can have the politics of hope and positivity and coming up with solutions together to fix things, but we also have the chance to kick out someone who is racist, extremist, sexist, misogynistic, all the ists and isms that he's managed to display to us. We can proudly show him that that's not welcome here, it's not welcome in Greater Manchester, the North, but it's not welcome anywhere in the UK.
Okay, I'm going to find a way to come up. You've convinced me. And
Please
knock
do.
on some doors, and we'll get people out. We'll give people a good time. And if there's 70 votes in it, come on, we need all hands on deck. Exactly. Hannah, we are so with you. We are so rooting for you.
Thank you
so
for
doing
much
this,
for everything.
and we're with you.
And thank you. Yeah, and thank you for everything that you've done in this. This is not just me. It's not just the Green Party. It's all of us who just really give a shit about each other. Like, and that's so many of us, and there's so much solidarity in that, and that is something that millionaires and billionaires cannot buy. They cannot buy us looking at each other and organising.
Or understand the power of it, the power of hope. At the show we're doing with Zach on the 5th of March, there are these amazing protest singers that are coming, and they sing one line so everyone can sing with them, but they sing in beautiful harmony. And they've got a beautiful song where they say, I believe that one fine day, the power of love will overcome the love of power. And I feel like that's what's happening now. I feel like there's a surge of the power of love overcoming the love of power. So I'll come up and see you tomorrow and do what I can. And I really hope a lot of the Guilty Feminist listeners who can play hooky tomorrow, or who are freelance workers and can just go, sod it, I'll do a bit more on the weekend, will come up with me, and I will see anyone who can be there. I'm sending you so much love, so much power. I know this today is so damn important for you. So go out there and make it count, Hannah. We believe in you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We're sending you all our love. That was the Guilty Feminist today. We hope it's inspired you to do what you can. If you can't make it, post on your socials. Message your friends and family who live near there. Ask them to message friends and family who live in Gorton and Denton. Whatever you do, get behind it, make some noise, be part of it. Thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
And stay on the line, because otherwise we'll lose the recording. And we don't want that. That was really lovely.
Thank you so much. Honestly, like, it just means the world, like, to have this. And it's not, I know it's me, but it's not just me. Do you know? Like, no, it's like, I understand. We're all here, like, we're all just one big team. And I just think it would be phenomenal.
Yeah, I feel it too. I feel really like everything's shifting, and I feel like for a long time in politics, it's just been like, do we want it to be a little bit worse or a little bit better? And now there's real hope for it could be much better, but it could be much worse. Yes. That's what I'm scared of. Like, I'm really scared.
That's so true, isn't it?
But I'm happy that at least it's coming to some kind of head, and we could win big.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We could win big. So there's a piece of me that goes, guys, we could win big here. And instead of it just being like, I guess this is our candidate, I guess this is our side, it's not quite as bad, it won't be quite as horrendously, unrelentingly sexist and racist the whole time. It's like, okay, I guess we won. Yay. It's going to be like, no, we're going to make a change. And so I feel more hopeful than I felt in my I think maybe in my life, and also more terrified than I've ever felt in my life. So, you know, I don't know, maybe we should put this part out too, but thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you. No, and thank you, like, genuinely, because it's just been this that's, like, I don't think you'll ever understand how much of a movement, like, you've helped. It's everything that's helped get us to this point where this can happen. And it's not just one person or one thing, it's all of us in our own areas. Like,
absolutely. That's what I always say to people, because we're doing these shows about the far right at the moment. And I always say, they say, oh, you're doing all this. And I'm like, I'm a drop in the ocean. What I do will only work in coalition with lots of other people. I'm not saying what we're doing is not powerful. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't think it was. But it has to be in coalition. This is why I'm so excited about the Together Alliance March, because I'm like, yes, this is what we need. The Together Alliance March have got it right. And I really hope the Together Alliance is a beginning of a huge movement, because that's what the far right do. They're all connected. They all help each other. They all fund each other. They all amplify each other. They don't go after each other. They just, that doesn't mean they won't have their internal arguments, but they tend to stand as a block. Although we are seeing reform fracture at the moment. I was saying on the show the other night, they've now got Restore Britain. And I was like, I wonder if we could create 3 or 4 other far right parties. And I was like, stick with me here. I'm a feminist, but called like
but I'm gonna
Refresh.
Yes.
Renege.
Redo.
Regenerate.
Redo it all.
Replenish. And people go, oh God, which one of these is mine?
Yes.
It's not a bad idea.
No, right. Maybe that's what we'll get our heads together doing. Yeah, no,
it's just a suggestion.
I agree with your point about people coming together, and I've seen that here in this. Like, the left are terrible at attacking each other, and that actually we've all united here, which I think is showing that once we know that works, that will just fire us on. We can disagree, we can have differences, but we can't lose sight of the bigger picture.
Absolutely.